didn't do that. The next item was back to update production tables to point to one synonym for concept 5993. Believe that was done. And then Wheeler was to process HL7 messages after East African working hours, and that was done. So from the previous meeting, I do not see anything that is still outstanding other than the PCS lab interface module. Do you have any questions on that?
So what is in the agenda?
Now go to the agenda. That was the review of the last week's to-dos. Yeah, so sorry? Yeah, you can hear us. So that's it. Now we move to the, if there are no questions, we move to the agenda items. So did you guys hear me? Maybe I'm talking and no one has heard, because I don't see any response.
We can hear you, Alpha. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you so much. So since there are no questions, we go to the agenda items. The first one was we were to look at the HL7 processing. Maybe Augustine can give us the update.
No, I think Wheeler has the.
Wheeler is
sick. Is it?
Yeah, he's sick. He said he will not talk today. So basically, I think Wheeler made the changes to XSLT.
Yeah, but there are still some forms that have not processed. Around 7,000 for remote form entry.
Okay.
That didn't process, and that is the most serious issue we have now. I know with the XSLT we had sent, processing right now is working fine, but we have some errors, the form entry error. I think you had about that.
Yeah.
So those ones, it means we have a shortage of some thousands of forms. So with that, it means we can't move. It's like those forms did not get converted right into the HL7 messages. So if we can have those resolved, and with the XSLT working right now, then we can say we are good to allow reporting to continue. So I don't know. I know Wira has been working on that. Maybe I don't know whether he managed to look at the form entry errors.
Okay. My objective at least was to try and actually when this item was raised, that there were missing forms and these forms were not visible on the error queue. So I did do the research, and we realized there were forms. These forms are not on the error queue, on the remote form entry error queue, but they are in the error queue table, that is form entry error. And I looked at that, and that seemed to be a problem with the Hibernate or lazy initialization. So I've never worked on the remote form entry module. So I took the code that Will has given me. I'm just trying to understand it. But I just from the tickets I provided from the comments I provided on ticket MRS 290 or something, a subset of ticket 258. The forms actually are there and they're in the error queue. So I would wish that I would hope Sorry guys, we got disconnected. I had made some comments. I don't know how far you got to hear what we were discussing. Yeah, basically, we were first discussing the. First, can you hear me? Maybe I'm talking and yet I'm not yet on.
Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
thank
you.
you. Okay, thank you. So the first item on the agenda was HL7 processing, but when we started discussing these, Augustine brought in the issue of forms not being found, which we had actually identified and we were working on. So my comments were that the forms that are said to be missing, they are not actually showing on the error queue, but they are in the error table, and I had given the exception and the cause of that. So I got the latest version of code from Wheeler, and I'm looking at it. Fortunately, I've not had much experience with that remote form entry. I have it. I'm learning, but maybe given that now Wheeler has finished the other part that he was working on, we could work together. Hopefully he will be well and we actually finish resolve this. Maybe we get a way of processing the forms that are in the error queue, though there are so many, because the errors, I think we have more than 50,000, but these guys are reporting 7,000 forms missing. Maybe we will look at that error queue in more detail to understand which one we need to reprocess and which one are not supposed to be.
We can process those ones for 3rd and 4th of this month,
because
most of them are around the forms that are missing around those dates, 3rd and 4th, or maybe from 3rd to this to date.
Because when I looked at that queue, the majority of these forms actually entered on the queue from around June 18th. So from June 18th up to date, we had more than 17,000 that got in there. So that's it. Unless you guys have comments, we'll have to really work on that to get at least those forms in the error queue processed, and then again look at any
idea what the type of error you said you saw an error message?
It is a Hibernate exception, as in it seems like when a patient, when you want to process the form that is in the patient's or the content of X form or an XML form, you collect available patient identifiers into a collection. Then it seems like Hibernate caching or somehow it cannot reference this collection well. Maybe that was my thinking, because looking at it mostly is that Hibernate lazy initialization error. I have put that on the ticket. Maybe let me find the ticket.
Okay.
The ticket is a subtask under MRS 278, and it is MRS 290. So you can see down there, I attached error details, and they have found that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So,
that is all.
So there are details. Here it's lazy initialization.
That's fantastic.
So maybe we'll work with Wheeler and we'll get it resolved.
So I don't know. So it's good that you are focused on that. So if it can be resolved, it will be good. Those forms are frozen right now. Which means these guys.
Yeah. So have you checked the one that I pointed out, the form 344 and 348?
I think I've fixed it. I've not seen any other forms adding. Maybe you can check. Let's see if you can go to queue. I don't think there is any other adding. So everything I think right now is being processed. Almost 93, 20.
Yeah.
120. It's just 220. So it's
348. So maybe this one will need to be reprocessed.
yeah.
So I think, Willa, maybe you may need to reprocess the way you were doing the ones that goes to the error queue with the blank OBR. You reprocess for form 344 and 348. Otherwise, I don't have any other thing to discuss unless you guys have something. Maybe to let you know, I think the shortlisting of developers will be done on Monday at around 9 a.m. Anything from anyone else? Okay, guys, thanks for attending today's call. I think that makes the end of the call because I don't hear anyone with any other business to discuss. I'm not getting anything. So I would assume that all is well.
Yeah, I saw messages. It sounded like Willa was working on through the HL7 processing, and your work at HL7 handling and the forms are obviously the top priorities. We need to be able to get data into the system. So I appreciate all your work on it.
Thanks, back.
So I guess that's the end of the call.
I think so. All right. See you guys in cyberspace.